that will take gold medal. We're here at the warm-up wall behind the Sazfay structure with Canadian climber Noah Bake, and we're going to try and explain a few of the terms that you're going to hear in the commentary. So first of all, Noah's going to kick in. So Noah, when you kick in, what is it that you're thinking about?
Just to see if they actually stick and how far they go in.
And how does that feel?
Good.
Cool. Another term that you'll often hear us say is the use of the word figure four, or just four. Noah, use a fig four. Can you explain why you would use a fig four?
You generally use a figure four when you find a very skatey or low percentage hold because it really sets your pick in the down position so it doesn't pop off.
Yeah. So it doesn't, I think a misconception is that often people think it gives you more reach, but actually it just gives you a more stable position over the tool.
It can and it can't. It's really the situation.
Another term that we often use during the commentary is figure of nine, fig nine or a nine. So Noah, if you could show us a nine. And perhaps now's a good time to explain the difference between a four and a nine. So with a nine, Noah's left hand and left leg are crossed, whereas with a four, you would cross right hand and left leg. So Noah, explain why you would use a figure nine.
You generally use it in roofs to transition into a figure four to reach to the next hold.
Okay. So moving on to tool usage. Noah, when you are climbing, you'll often use different tool positions. I'd like to cover some of those. So first up, Noah's going to show us a wrap.
So wrap is when you kind of wrap the teeth of the tool around the hold. You'll generally do that when you see a horn kind of sticking out. It's usually a fairly decent hold.
And how does it feel?
It usually feels fairly secure.
Careful. And then also you might go what some people call front on. Can you show us that?
Yeah, that's just plainly placing the
So the clue's in the name.
Straight on like that.
And does that feel less secure?
It can. It can be really bad, but it can also be really good.
Cool. And then another crucial one that we often talk about is a stein.
That is when you take it upside down and then the teeth rest against the wall.
So the head of the axe is resting against the wall, and you can torque on it almost, really yard on it. So we can call that a stein or a stein pull. And then there's a subtle difference between the stein and then an undercling or an undercut. Can you show us that?
An undercling is usually upside down, but you don't stein the head of your tool.
So the head of the tool would be free from the surface of the wall.
Usually a more physical move too.
Cool. Well, Noah, thank you so much for that. That was very insightful, very interesting. Best of luck for the competition.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that wasn't just a look at the highlights, but also a look at the Jargon Buster video too, and that'll give you an idea some of the things that we're going to be talking about during the broadcast. But let me show you the competition structure. The athletes are going to walk down this path, through the woodland, into this area. This is the transition zone. This will be where the athletes sit. They'll put their crampons on, get their axes ready, and then they'll see this place. This is the archway into the competition arena, onto the climbing structure, and it's absolutely stunning. And in fact, you can see all of the athletes now preparing themselves for the competition. They're doing that route observation, they're making their final notes, concentrations, observations about exactly each individual element of that competition route. 8 men and 8 women will be climbing. Before they do, have you ever wondered what an athlete keeps inside the bag? Climbers are known to be obsessive characters, and one thing they pay particular attention to is gear. I'm going to have a route around in their bags and see if I can find what the secrets are to their success. So I'm here with Yanik Glatard, who's just topped his qualifying route. Yanik, hello.
Hey.
So we're going to have a look in what's in Yanik's bag. Let's see what you've got in here then.
Here are my binoculars.
So why do you have binoculars?
Oh, for the route preview, I look at the climbing holds, so that I can see more seriously where the top point is and everything like that. Yeah, Swarovski.
Some pretty bling binoculars. What else have we got here?
Oh, there are my fusions, black diamond, old
black
fusions.
Diamond fusions.
Yeah.
Quite heavy.
Fusion. Yeah, I know. but
meaty.
the grip is awesome, the angle is perfect, and the pick, I shaped them for my own.
What pick have you got on here?
Oh, like the Black Diamond dry tooling pick, but
Yep.
I modified it like that it's just everything perfect for me.
Excellent. And then what else have we got in there?
Oh, I think there's like...
Is that a sleeping bag?
That's a sleeping bag, yeah.
Why do you have a sleeping bag in there, Yanik?
Oh, iPod as well. Sleeping bag because I was pretty long time in the isolation zone, so I prefer to take a sleep to hit some time down, you know.
Nice.
And it's warm, fluffy, like at home.
So I've managed to grab Rita Supersaxto from the Samarita Verein Sastal, the paramedics, to find out what's in your bag. Hello, Rita.
Hello.
Just going to take a look in here. So what have we got in here then? What's this? Some sort of tape. What about this one?
For disinfection.
Ah, this is for disinfection, so if you get any wounds from the tools. What about... Oh, steri strips.
Yeah.
We need a lot of steri strips in the speed competition today and all this season. Rita, thank you for letting us look in your bag. Let's see what else's bag we can find. I've come across this one down here. I believe this either belongs to someone called Ned, or being from the Netherlands, it's probably Mariam van der Steens. Let's see what's in her bag. What the heck's this? What the heck's this? It's a doggy bag. And so there is that competition structure, and the athletes have now finished their route observation period. They've had a chance to look at the routes, where they go, follow the lines up the structure, and very shortly we'll be seeing those athletes back out on this competition structure. 8 men and 8 women, and it's going to be a stunner. The World Championship finals of men's lead and women's lead. And before we get underway, I would like to introduce my co-commentator for this afternoon, which is Miss Marianne van der Steen. Marianne, hello.
Hi, welcome.
How are you?
I am very happy to be here and to be with you and commenting here and at least doing something for this World Cup World Championships instead of climbing myself.
And of course you were competing over the last 2 days, but it didn't quite go to plan.
No, it didn't, unfortunately. I had a little bit of unlucky things happening, but that's the thing of competitions, right?
It is indeed, and whilst I'm very sad and sorry for you that you didn't make it through, I'm delighted to have you here joining me this afternoon. And we just saw your dog on that video there in the What's in My Bag feature.
Yeah, he's still doing well. He doesn't like the snow so much because it's a little too much and he will get wet, and he doesn't like wetness like real dogs. I don't like dog weather.
Well, of course, mentioning that snow, we've had so much snow. It started snowing last night, and then today alone we've had almost 40 centimetres. It's not stopped all day. You can see the tents and the trees behind gradually piling up with snow. It's been quite impressive, really, very wintry. Marianne, will that snow affect the competition or the competitors at all?
Oh yes, it will. Of course, before you actually get onto the wall, your ice axes will get snowy, and then they get wet, and then they get a little bit slippery, so it will be harder to hold onto the ice axes, and you get the snow in your face, and there's like this super slight breeze, so even though it's super overhanging climbing, you still get the snow in your face and definitely affects you.
Interesting. Now, let's have a quick look at the competitor list from today. In the women's competition, first lady to join us will be Russian climber Mariam Philippov. Second will be Emma McSwigan of Ireland. Third will be Katerina Vasser of Russia. Fourth will be Petra Klingler of Switzerland. Fifth, Hannah Ray Song of Korea. Sixth, Maria Tolonina of Russia. Seventh, Angelica Rhina of Italy. And eighth, our first place qualifier from yesterday, will be Wan Shin of Korea. Now, I'll give you more information on those athletes as the competition takes place, as they climb. Looking at the men's list, 8th place qualifier yesterday, and the first to come out this afternoon will be Alexi Denan of Russia. Then he'll be followed by Mohammad Reza of Iran, Radmir Penko of Russia, and Valentin Covin of Ukraine, Kyung Park of Korea, Jannis Volack of Slovenia, Nikolai Klev of Russia, and of course, first place qualifier from yesterday, Swiss Air himself, Yanik Glatard. Marianne, there's a pretty impressive list of names there.
Oh, it's such an exciting list. And especially it's the World Championships. It's the end of the season. It's the finals of the finals. And then having this list, there are so many good climbers, and those ones made it to the finals. I've seen like names like Jannis didn't do so well in the World Cup series, and now he's in the finals, placed as third already. And also Yanik, who had a little bit unlucky in Saas-Fee and now is placed first with a super fast climb in the semi-finals. And the same counts for the women. I'm happy to see Amir again into the finals. So yeah, it's really exciting. I'm
So
really
many
curious.
strong names.
Definitely.
You can see the judges there just having their final briefing from President of the jury, the judges. They'll be almost ready to get underway in a second. And don't forget, first of all, I don't think I welcomed Did I welcome everyone? I'm going to welcome everyone. Good afternoon, wherever you're tuning in from. Maybe a good morning, maybe a good evening. Welcome to Champagny. If you're tuned in on YouTube, then make sure you drop us a comment in the live chat. If you're tuned in on Twitter, then send us a tweet using that hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. And of course, you could be tuned in on the UIAA's Facebook channel. You could be tuned in on Empora's Facebook channel. Or for the first time, you could be tuned in on the Olympic channel. A very warm welcome wherever you're tuned in. We're looking forward to hearing from you, to interacting with you at what is the landmark event of the season, the 2017 Ice Climbing World Championships. You can see there, Philippe in the green and grey jacket. He's our announcer, compere for the event. No doubt you'll be hearing his voice over the course of the next couple of hours. You can see a selection of the judges. And we should almost be ready for our first athlete, I believe.
Yeah. Seriously curious about what the snow is going to do. And it's really snowing a lot. I can even see the top part of the wall is even snowed in a little bit. So that will definitely affect the athletes if they get all the way to the top. It will be more difficult than just a regular climbing gym competition.
Now, Marianne, when we were commentating together in Saas-Fee, first of all, you did a great job. But second of all, you answered very diplomatically. And I'm going to put you on the spot again. In the men's and the women's competition, could you like to have an estimate of who you would think could make it to that top spot?
Ooh. Like making this kind of things is so difficult to say because there's so much that can happen on the way. The thing with this competition, the route setters have a different approach this time again with the route. They made all the holds black. And the black is really hard to read where the holes are going to be. So the ones who are most experienced with those kind of holds and who have most experience in competitions in general, I think make a bigger chance compared to the new ones.
A completely diplomatic and totally non-conclusive answer there from Marianne,
I'm
as
sorry.
I expected. No, that's very good, very good. We are supposed to be impartial, but if anyone can have a guess, then it's you. So Mariam Philippov there on your screen, tying into her rope, ready to climb. Her first Russian athlete.
Looking up, and she's looking up and probably thinking like, oh my gosh, this is so much snow where I have to climb in. But she's from Russia, and as we all know, Russia knows snow, they know the cold, and that actually might not affect her as much as some of the athletes from other countries where they have less snow every day.
So
And she's off.
she begins climbing, and just to give you an update on the format, the women will climb, then the men will climb, then the women, then the men. So we'll have alternate climbers, so Mariam will be the first to climb. And we see Mariam moving off the ice up onto the first section of plywood. As you look at this structure, Mariam is on the back left-hand side of the structure. Just to give you some orientation about where she is. Big reach with that right hand to start. Mariam's had a very consistent season. Very consistent indeed. She finished 7th overall. Took a 5th place in Durango, 11th in Beijing, a bronze medal in Cheongsong, 16th in Saas-Fee, and another 5th in Rabenstein.
And she's doing a good job there, but it looks like this hold is super tricky. That's what I said about the black holes. You don't
harder
really
to
know
read.
so far where to go.
You can see
she
she's read
found
that
the
very
right
well,
undercling.
taking the top of the hold and then using that Stein there, the head of the axe, pressing very hard against that ply. Big
Dynamic
shout out
move.
to Sarhand from Australia wanting to see Mohammad Reza climb. Rimhi Days got in touch and said heavy snow. And Lonsdale, that's my mother. She said good luck, girls.
How lovely.
Hello, mum. Mariam Philippova takes that hold, matches with both tools, and now she's got a big reach to make up and over to that left side before moving to the EP volume.
This
Puts
is
the
a
figure 4 in.
super technical figure 4 because she's using the hold tool sideways before going into it. You have to hold a lot of tension on the hold. And here you saw a nice close-up of the next one. And because of the blackness, it's hard to see what it actually is holding. So it's good to have the close-ups.
Mariam Philippov moves the body weight over to that right side, releases the left tool, takes it in her mouth so that she can match, and she'll make that clip.
First checking again.
Up high.
Yeah, you really definitely need to check the holes if they're okay. You don't want to fall out in the finals here in the start of the of the route itself. You have to get a lot higher than this. There's not much time to climb, so she has to move fast, which is tricky on those kind of holds, as you see.
If you're wondering how much time Mariam Philippov has got left, so are we. Basically, oh, she's off.
No.
Very low fall there.
Oh, that's such a pity. Yeah.
See the look of disappointment in her face. She wasn't expecting to fall so low. We'll have to see exactly what happened. So she puts the fig 4 in over the right hand.
Tries to push up. She moves her tool.
Oh, and that right hand just pops off.
Yeah.
Chang Fei Lu's got in touch and said good. Hello and good afternoon to everybody that's tuning in on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Tell us who you think is going to win. And let us know.
That's a difficult bet.
It is a difficult bet, but this is, they're allowed to say.
Oh, of course. Everybody's got their favorite.
Just to give you an update on that timer, the judges have to press the official timer for us to be able to see it. So in that instance where we didn't have a timer, it's because the judges hadn't pressed their clock, but they do have stopwatches, so it's still being timed.
It's just that we don't know the time.
Exactly, but we'll do our best to keep you updated as and when we can. Mariam Philippov walks back to the transition zone.
Yeah, and then she was. That was her climb. I think the route is far more technical than it looks from over here. And that's definitely the process we've been seeing also on the previous World Cups, that the routes have become more difficult, more technical. You have to have really sharp ice axes, technical movements. You have to understand how to move properly, and it's a big test here in the finals.
Alexi Denan
Next
takes
climber
his
on,
tools.
super enthusiastic climber, and he's off. Also in the ice. They will start in the ice like a real ice climbing world championship has to be. They have to have some ice, right, Liam?
Of course, yeah. And if we want to be an Olympic sport, then we need to make sure there's plenty of ice to climb on. Rona Walsh has got in touch to say looking forward to seeing Ema climb from all of her family in Ireland. Lots of Ema McSwigan fans tuned in. Alexi Denan locks down. Big reach with that right hand, up and left.
Ooh, strong reach he had there. A little bit sideways. You see them holds are not placed obvious. They're not straight. You have to have your tools sideways a little every time again. And it's tricky. You see the red line. The red line, they're not allowed to touch the eyes on the side of the red line.
That's
Not
the
allowed to go over.
zone.
Yes, that's the out of balance zone, boundary zone. And moving on fast. He's fast.
Alexi Denan is fast when he needs to be, and he moves up with that right hand. Matches in high grip on that left tool now. Takes the clip. And comes to that first lip. Big reach with the right hand. These very small black holds. 6 minutes on the clock for Alexi Denan.
And maybe from your screen on it looks like a huge hold, but there is only a little surface that they can actually hold with their tools. It's literally a couple of millimeters they're holding on to.
You can see that he's
beautiful
in a groove
move
position.
he's doing now. This undercling move and straight into the next hold with his hand turning it upside down. Perfect movement. It's so efficient.
And you see there on that top right hand side of the EP volume, he needs to move upwards, get the body weight high, and then he's using a fig 4. Looks like he's going to skip that next move. I think the setters intended maybe to put a difficult undercut move in. No problem for Alexi Denan
Smart.
as he makes that next clip.
Perfect, Alexi. And now a big move again. Sideways, you really have to lock off, really hold tension on the first hold to be able to get straight into the second one. And yes, you're allowed to use your hands on the wall for your balance.
So he takes that next hold, undercuts that hold. Another clip for Alexi Denan. Reaches that big black disc with 4 minutes and 52 seconds on the clock.
That's a pretty flat hold he's holding now. So he has to have a lot of balance and hold the hold really close to the wall.
And so now Alexi Denan moves into the ice. You see him stepping above the tape, avoiding that out of bounds area, and he's going to traverse leftwards out to the roof section and to the upper parts of this route. You see the free hanging box just looking above him there. There it is. Reaches up with the left tool, places that tool over the left leg and the left hand into the fig 9, releases that to make the next move, flicks to the fig 4 over the right hand, and makes another move, moving really nicely through this roof. Of course, moving efficiently and quickly through this roof is absolutely imperative if these climbers want to have energy and something left in the tank for when they get higher up. Alexi Denan now moving on to that head wall, as you can see.
It's tricky though, this roof. You first have this overhanging section and then you go into the roof. You really have to transit your body and your energy and your muscles into doing something completely different again, which is really interesting to see how he does that. And he moves on super fast through this section.
Takes that small hold with the left tool and kicks into the ice with his feet. Another traversing section. Goes back onto the ice now. You can see that next clip that he needs to make. Pulls the rope from behind him. Makes that clip.
With his tool
of course,
onto
being
it.
careful with his axe there, because if an athlete drops their axe, they are disqualified.
Best holds.
You can see the blue spray paint. Those are pre-drilled holds. So the athletes are allowed to use the ice wherever they want, but those blue parts are the optimum areas. They're not out of bounds to use other parts, but using those blue parts means they don't have to swing their axe into the ice. Makes it a little bit more reliable and much quicker. You can see Denan now moving over to another free hanging feature. Oh, and his foot pops, but he's on a solid hold with the hand in the ice. Lots of people getting in touch on social media.
Oh, I love this section.
Michael's son gets in touch to say hello from South Korea. It's past 11:30 in the evening there. Fair play to Michael and all the people tuning in from South Korea. It's a late night for you.
Oh, it looks like a far more tricky move than I expected. And they're from the ice. I love the ice section though, getting the ice in between again. Like a real ice climbing competition.
Puts that left leg over the left hand for the figure 9. Reaches to the other side of that free hanging feature. Looks like a big door almost.
Oh, it's a spectacular move.
Another big move coming up as Denan continues to traverse. Climbing all the way through the structure. The route setters really making use of this horizontal section.
Wow, lovely. This is a bit of downwards movement. I had to climb a little bit downwards. It's a lot of lock-off power you have to have over there.
It's very deceptive. It's very hard to actually make out how steep this section is. Very, very steep indeed.
Yeah. And with the ice axes, you're a little bit more off the wall, so it becomes even more steep than compared to sports climbing.
Takes that left hand onto the AIX volume.
And instead of using the ice underneath for his feet over here, he's using the wall itself. The wall itself is a little bit more stable, more predictable, and therefore moving on a little faster, but it might take a little bit more energy. And swinging on, that was a big move he did over there. Nice one. And
Alexi Denan moving so well at this point, and he's moving on to that extended part of the structure.
Oh, lovely.
He's right at the top of the wall now, but this wall here in Champagny has an extendable panel, gives another 5 meters of climbing. Oh, and he just pops again, but manages to hold it.
Oh,
needs to compose himself with 45 seconds on the clock. Alexi Denan needs to just take a moment to catch his breath, really get ready to go.
And it's a big move. It's super overhanging to get there. And he does it. He does it.
Amazing work from Alexi Denan.
Oh, lovely. Okay, come on.
Matches in with that left hand, and he's got another big move to make. Throws the right leg over the left hand for the fig 4. Up with the right hand. He's got 17 seconds on the clock.
Oh, that hold looks so more tricky than it is.
You can see the snow really coming down now. It's going to be in his eyes. It's going to be on his tools. Everything's going to feel difficult. Alexi Denan makes the next clip.
Is he gonna? Oh, he just has it. He has the clip.
Oh, and he's off. Alexi Denan falls with
just
3 seconds to go. Always an emotional character to watch. Very, very exciting climber.
That was a strong climb.
Big wave to the crowd. And a great effort to start the competition from Alexi Denan. Looks like a lot more speed's going to be required because Alexi made very few mistakes.
Yeah, he was very fast. He was fast from the start. Even though the holds in the start were already technical, he was moving super smooth, hardly making any mistakes indeed.
Chris Vega's got in touch from Okinawa, Japan. Caroline Townsend's got in touch to say good luck, Ema. Renia Udekirk's got in touch to say hello. Lots of people getting in touch. You do the same. You can drop us a message here. That was that very brief mistake from Alexi Denan. Managed to compose himself and move onwards. Of course, he took his first gold medal ever in Durango in the first competition of the 2017 season. We'll have to wait and see if that attempt was good enough for an overall medal in the World Championships. Alexi Denan currently on the microphone.
And going back into the transition zone. And then we're almost up for the next climber, right?
We are ready for the next climber, which will be Ema McSwigan of Ireland. She's tying in there, you can see her.
Getting a rope ready, everybody has to do that by himself, obviously. As a competition climber, you have to know these kind of things. Get your jacket off at the very last moment, staying warm as long as possible until your body is going to be warm but because of the climbing. Taking one last look at the holds. And then she's going to be off.
So Ema McSwigan of Ireland, who has had a phenomenal season so far, makes her first moves up the ice here at the 2017 UIAA Ice Climbing World Championships.
I talked to her yesterday, and she said it was so much dedication to actually being able to climb here, to train so much as she does right now. All the things she's been doing, the way she's been living, from all the little parts that you need to do to be top fit. And she's really happy that she actually made the finals over here and that she had this fantastic season, that it worked out.
So Ema McSwigan moves onto that ply structure.
Yeah,
takes that first hold with her left hand.
Yeah, she's really searching into where to actually place their I6. And just like we saw with Mariam, it was a very tricky hold. It's a very tricky start, and looks the same here for Emir as well.
Oh, and Ema's off! A really low pop there. Oh, what a nightmare. Ema, obviously disappointed. You can see the look of despair in her face. A low fall. Can barely believe what just happened. She struggled to find the sweet spot of that hold. And then all of a sudden, from being on, it just popped. She was out of there. 2 low falls in this women's final. Very difficult route setting. Watch that left hand. She struggled to place that tool. She goes into match. Just as she was going into rematch with that tool, out of there. Really, really unlucky for Ema McSwigan. Totally unforgiving, these routes. Route setters Massimo, Attilio and Radek really setting the standard high for that women's competition.
I think it really is a thing. What she did, she placed her hand high on the tool, and because placing it so high, you actually get more force off the wall instead of onto the pick of the ice axe itself, and that was just a little too much for this small hold.
And so next up, we're going to have Mohammad Reza Safdarian of Iran.
Very strong climber. He's got so much muscles.
He's done an incredible job this season. Managed to qualify for the finals today in 7th position at the World Championships. But overall, didn't quite have the season he was hoping for. Only made 1 final in Sazfei, placed 8th. Let's see how he gets on with this finals route here. Needs to move very quickly if he wants to be in with a chance of a podium here at the World Championships.
And he's also making these nice moves and taking the ice axe underside. making it so efficient to move on straight away into the next hold. And taking it again and again. He's quite fast as well. It's not bad. He has to hold the rhythm though.
Makes the clip and moves onwards up to that next hold with the right hand, and he's bridged between that obtrusion on the wall and the right hand side with his leg. Takes that hold with the left hand, just looking to readjust it.
Yeah, there he goes. Just as Alexi did.
Reaches over with the right hand, and we'll see now if he opts to go for the Stein or if he uses the Fig 4 and skips the move like Dengin did. Just finding the best part of that hold with his hand.
Taking a clip first, that's fast.
To make the clip, and of course that's a good idea as a competitor. It means you get more points. Takes the left hand, and he actually climbs using that move only with his hand. Good skills there from Mohammad Reza Safdarian.
Ooh, that hold, you really have to take it sideways. That's a big shoulder move he's going to make.
Pulls hard into that right shoulder, using the chest and the bicep to the best of his ability to then take that next move into that undercut position.
And as you see, it's not like a real Stein pull. You don't have to really press the head of the ice axe onto the wall. You really have to just pull onto it.
And interestingly, he reaches that disc with 4 minutes and 54 seconds on the clock, 2 seconds ahead of where Alexi Dengin was.
And using his hands again. Nice.
Really opting to use his hands on a couple of moves here. Reaches up to make that clip from the ice, and so begins that steep roof section.
Yeah, the transition, body transition, different kind of tension on your body, different kind of muscle use. But he's doing fine there. Tricky because you swing so much, you really have to hold the balance on your ice tools there.
Into the Fig 4 over that right hand he's got in the backhand grip. Into a Fig 9, of course, Figure 9 when left leg goes over left hand or right leg goes over right hand. And there's the Fig 4, left leg over right hand, so opposites. Using that move to create more stability down through the tool. Also to give better horizontal reach. Back into the Fig 9. Very, very steep. Lots of people getting in touch on Facebook. Don't forget you can do the same on Twitter too. Hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. Mohammad Reza Safdarian onto that first part of the head wall, but still has lots of climbing to do. He needs to move leftwards as you look at the screen through this section and then back onto the ice on his left. Seems to be tiring a little bit here. Another small hold to take.
Yeah, that took him quite some energy to get through that roof section. It's quite unique. Most of the structures don't have this kind of roof section compared to the World Cup competitions, therefore making it really interesting climbing.
Needs to reach behind him to clip that rope.
That takes time. Tricky.
See him struggling there just with that rope management. All of these individual elements causing a few extra seconds to elapse. Of course, taking seconds off the time that he can get up to the upper parts of the wall to be in with a chance of a medal position.
Clipping the draw again and into the second part of the ice.
And you can see above him that door feature that he's reaching into now. Big hanging feature, and in fact it's a splinter. From the angle we see it, it looks flat, but it's actually an overhanging splinter feature. Just struggling to find the right spot on that hold there. You see the left tool. We also saw Dengin struggling with that as well. Commits into it with the Fig 9. Slows himself down with his hands. Stops that swing into the Fig 4 to rotate around.
He's testing the hold so he knows where to hold it with his ice tool, because you can't really see it because you're still on the other side of the structure.
Big swing and a big kick into the underside of that move there. Moves those feet leftwards.
Changing hands, so he's a little lower on his ice tool because he has to climb down onto the next hold. So you have to have as much length as possible. But you see he's tired, he's shaking his hands. And the next hold is so tricky, you really have to hold the tension on that one. But he's got it. Still his feet into the wood. See what he's gonna do.
Big move to come.
Yeah, and it's a little bit sideways, so it takes a lot of strength, and not only a big move, but a strength move as well.
Uses the ice for his left foot to reach up with the right hand and clip. 1 minute and 13 seconds on the clock. Definitely slowed now. We saw him with a very quick start, but now that pace has reduced a little bit. Takes the first hold on the left side of that EP volume. He's going to backhand that hold to make that big move for the clip. Reaches across.
He actually skipped the hold. Did you see it?
Yeah. Left hand over to the top of that AAX volume.
And moving his body again. Yeah, really have to move sideways to get into the next hold, and it's a little bit downwards again.
Another big reach and strong position from Mohammad Reza Safdarian.
Yeah, and as you see from this position, it's really overhanging. And he's tired, but he has to move on. That's a tricky thing. If you're so pumped, you really have to go through this whole pump, through this mind thing of being pumped and just moving on, because your body always has got more energy, more reserve than you think, or than your mind trying to tell you.
10 seconds on the clock for Mohammad Reza Safdarian, and he falls at the penultimate volume of that steep horizontal section. And that will be the end of Mohammad Reza Safdarian's World Championship. Brilliant work from him. Very good climbing. But that will put him behind Alexi Denan. Great work from that. Needed to move a bit quicker, I think, Mariam.
He had to move quicker, yeah, but he was really pumped. I'm not sure if he actually could move quicker. It took him quite some energy, especially in the middle section through the roof. It maybe took him too much energy, unfortunately.
Next climber will be Katerina Vasser of Russia. But before that, let's just watch that moment. Watch Mohammad Reza Safdarian's left foot pop, then his right foot popped. He tried to hold the swing on the right hand, but just couldn't quite hold his body weight. He only had 10 seconds on the clock anyway. And that is the end of his competition.
It was a very good try.
So now Katerina Vasser ties in on the wall, the other side of the structure.
Taking a last look at all the holds and where she has to go. See if she managed to go through this tricky section in the start.
On Empore, Sam Smoot has asked, how high is this competition structure?
Ooh, good question.
It's probably about 20 meters high.
20?
Yeah, I reckon.
Something?
But what's worth mentioning is that whilst it's 20 meters from bottom to top, it certainly doesn't climb like a 20-meter structure. They cause these athletes to climb inside and outside of the structure, around different parts. So actually you get probably more like 30, maybe even 35 meters of climbing. Lots and lots of climbing to do for these athletes, despite the height of 20-meter structure. It's maybe a touch bigger than 20 meters. Katerina Vasser moves up with that left hand to the hold that we saw McSwigan fall off. Feels solid on that compared to how Ema looked. Looks to put the right hand in into the Stein. Of course, the Stein where the head of the axe presses against the wall. Makes the clip.
And she's actually going nicely through this section.
Matches up.
Careful,
Makes the
but
clip.
good. Looking well where she has to place her feet.
Just taking a time on that hold to make sure she's totally certain as to what to do next.
You have to hold your body very close to the wall to not pop off. That's a long move for her.
Very deep lock for Katerina Vasser.
Wiggling her hand on the tool to get as much height as possible. Very strong. It's good that she trained this kind of thing. You can see that she knows that she has to wiggle her hand onto the tool to get a little bit of lower grip.
Makes the clip and moves up to the right side of the entreprise volume. Takes it with the right hand.
I think this is the hole where Mariam
This is where
came
Mariam
off.
fell off.
See how she's gonna take it. She doesn't really know. She takes a little sideways. That's an interesting one. It looks like this hold is really new for the competitors. I wouldn't know this hold either. Making it like a real onside.
Moves high with that right lock to place the left hand. Climbs away into first place so far and reaches the bulge with 4 minutes and 51 seconds on the clock.
More nice undercut. Here you can see a nice detail on the hold and on her ice axe over here. She's got pink screws or purple screws in her ice axe.
She's got the new purple screws that were only released a couple of weeks ago, I believe.
Yeah, looks girly to me.
Reaches over, hard move with that right hand. That's an identical move to what we saw yesterday. Big powerful move that we saw in the men's competition yesterday, and then reaches over with the right hand to make that next move. You can see one of those rock holds mounted on a disc. Big lock off that left hand as she stands on top of that bulge. Reaches up with the left hand to make the clip.
She's moving fast.
She's moving higher than anybody else we've seen so far. 3 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. You can see where she's got to go, that hold on the free hanging box, high and behind her. She'll climb to that via the ice.
And now going into the ice, it's a sideway movement. Have to be quite flexible to get through. Hold your balance. She does that nicely.
Stands over onto the ice with the right foot bridged into the groove. Left hand over into that pre-drilled hole. And now, after making the clip, she will take that hold on the free hanging box.
Taking a look at where she has to go. This is a good place to rest because you've got good footholds, you've got a good handhold. And then going into the next section. This is a heavy place to climb.
Into the Fig 9, switches to the Fig 4, reaches over with her right hand. 2 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock.
And nice. She does a nice figure of 4, a nice figure of 9. Perfectly placed with her feet.
Right leg over the right hand to make that next clip.
Holding a little bit of swing in her body, but that's always okay because then you keep on moving. You kind of remind your body to keep on moving. And that's what you need because she doesn't have so much time left. 2 minutes.
Into the Fig 9 as she reaches over with the right hand onto that EP volume. She's going to climb next up this head wall. Another big reach over into the ice.
Yeah, another nice ice section. I love the ice in it.
You
I
can
really like it.
Really see that snow coming down now. And great shot there of a Katerina Vasser as she traverses along this ice section.
Oh, the quick throw is almost hidden in the snow. There's so much snow falling over it.
You can see in her face that she's starting to fatigue with 1 minute and 26 seconds on the clock. Climbing much higher than we've seen anybody else climb so far.
But she has to move on. She's not there yet. Struggling. Your ice axes get wet a little bit over here. Your gloves get wet. It's a little bit more difficult to hold on. And she's going nicely though. She's going on. Ooh, 1 minute on the clock, Liam. 1 minute.
Big reach over to that volume with a minute on the clock.
That's the very last bit of the wall that she's going to climb. Oh, difficult clip there. Clipping in a lock off, so you have to use a lot of power to get into the hold and getting the rope into the quick draw.
Katerina Vasser uses that right hand, matches in with the left to give herself a time to shake. So much snow coming down as she reaches up with that left hand. Big reach, hits it second time.
And holds on. This is such a big pull you have to do.
Reaches high to make that clip. Makes the clip with 15 seconds to go.
because
Katerina Vaser's got to move really quickly now as the dying seconds of this final round are over for her. 6 seconds to go. You can see where the holds are leading her. You can see the quick draws. She's still got a lot of climbing to do. This is all for the highest score, and that's time.
Wow, time out, but she moved so fast in the very last holds. It was so good.
Amazing work from Katerina Vaser.
Still trying to move on. Sometimes you try to move on, you don't really understand that there is time out. That
And of
was a
course,
fast
we saw in
movement.
Cheongsong Angelica Rhina falling, or in fact letting go because she heard time. But actually it was time out for somebody else, not for her. So the athletes do right to continue climbing until they're literally pulled off the wall. Amazing work from Katerina Vaser.
Very
Brilliant,
strong climb.
brilliant start to the competition for her. We'll have to see how that places her amongst the other athletes. Of course, in the ladies' competition, we still have Petra Klingler, Hannah Rai-Song, Maria Tolonina, Angelica Rhina, and Wan Shin to climb. And next up in the men's event will be Radmir Penko, who is tying in at the bottom of the wall now. There he is, taking off his jacket. 20-year-old Russian. Very, very talented climber in both lead and speed. He placed 4th today in the World Championship Speed Final. He
Very
ranked
smart.
8th overall in the World Cup competition. Took a 14th place in Beijing, 7th place in Cheongsong, 6th place in Saas-Fee, and 4th place in Rabenstein. He'll be looking to improve on all those scores here in Champagny today. And he begins climbing with good pace to begin.
After all, he's a speed climber, so he knows that to climb fast. He saw that in the very first bit of the ice section that he climbed. He took his tools both short. That's very smart if you're climbing ice. And moving a little faster. And he keeps his pace over here as well. Although the holds are very technical to move onto. Using his power to do that clip. And here taking this nice sideway undercut.
Big shout out to Mark Beverley, who is watching live. Good afternoon, Mark. Or even good morning, probably where you are, if you're in Albuquerque. And also thank you for keeping your eye on those pesky commenters on the social media channel. I would say exactly the same thing too.
Hi, Mark.
Radmir Penko moves up with the left hand into that hold. Very precise move there. Excellent work, hitting that first time. Matches in on that tool and kicks into the EP volume and reaches over with the right hand. This is that move that you have to be very, very precise. Very strong in the shoulder and in that right pec. Rolling over it, transferring his weight. Left hand uses it to clip. Right hand in that Stein. And hits the disc with 5 minutes and 15 seconds to go. That's 30 seconds faster than both Alexi Denan and Mohammad Reza Safdarian. So
And
he's moving very quick at this point.
Very, very quick and very efficient as well. He did 2 clips at the same time, taking less time than clipping one and moving and then clipping another one.
Uses the left hand on the eye structure to allow him to get that left foot up and above the tape, taking care not to step out of bounds. Reaches high behind himself to clip and enters that horizontal section of climbing with a figure 9. Matches into the fig 4 and behind him again onto that next EP volume, traversing through that roof section move by move.
Straight into the figure of 4, taking less time again and straight into a figure of 9. Almost touching the out of boundary zone there.
Got to be very careful with those taped zones. The judges watching very carefully from below. Reaches up again with the right hand, hits that hold on the right side of the entreprise volume.
He does that really precise.
Big move out left to that tiny hold, kicks into the ice and gets ready to move completely over to that ice structure. Moving really, really quickly. Radmir Penko has got to go all the way around the ice.
He's
onto
using
the next
his
section.
He's using his speed climbing techniques here, definitely. Taking the tools halfway again. And just hooking perfectly.
We've just been informed that at this early stage in the broadcast, we've already got 50,000 viewers. Great to have you all on board. A very warm welcome. And don't forget, you can get in touch with us here at the UIAA World Championships in Champagny. Very easy to do. Use the hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing on Twitter, or drop us a comment in the live chat on YouTube and Facebook. And why not share the broadcast? If every single one of the 50,000 people watching this shared the broadcast, then there would be
amazing.
Maybe 52,000. Who knows? Feel free to share, get involved, ask questions. We love to hear from you here. 3 minutes on the clock for Radmir Penko as he moves powerfully left and downwards to that hold on the EP volume.
And he moves so fast. He's fast. Really secure on the holds. Really moving and moving and moving.
Very
just
confident
like
style from Radmir Penko.
Definitely confident.
Opts to skip that hold again, just like we saw Alexi Denan and Mohammad Reza do.
Taking his time, looking at the next holds. There are two a little bit awkward. You have to move on first. And what's he gonna do there? Dynamic big move. And he hits it straight away again. So nicely. Such precise movements he's got there. But you see he's getting a little tired. He's a little shaky on his ice axis right now.
Interesting fact, the guy who's popping his head back inside that hole there is Radek, who is one of our route setters. So he's getting some pictures there, no doubt, for his portfolio. Oh, and Radmir Penko's off. Great effort from Radmir Penko. He had so much time on the clock, but falls very early compared to his teammate Alexi Denan. We'll be able to catch a replay of exactly what happened in a second.
Looking at his climbing, it looked so perfectly well in the start, especially.
So he was on that volume, so much time, way faster. The right hand popped, and we saw Denan hold that move, but Radmir Penko couldn't hold it.
Just had his feet popping off and everything at the same time. Yep,
that left foot not quite finding the purchase that it needed to in the ice to stop the swing. And that is the competition over for Radmir Penko.
Yep,
next up, we'll have ladies competitor
already
Petra
climbing.
Klingler,
Petra,
who starts climbing immediately. And of course, Petra injured herself in South. If you haven't seen that video clip, head to YouTube, watch it, watch the whole replay, or just watch the clip of where she was climbing that finals route, bust her knee. Absolutely terrifying moment. I was commentating with Gordon MacArthur at the time, and we were in tears. It was so emotional. And then the point that she decided to continue climbing. She climbed with one leg completely limp. It was one of the most inspiring and impressive things we've seen all season. And after skipping last week to rest and to get rehab, she's here in Champagny at the World Championships. Not only all those things, if that wasn't impressive enough, Petra Klingler is also World Bouldering Champion. She won the World Bouldering Championships this year, or rather last year, 2016, in Paris, in the Bercy Stadium, in front of 10,000 people. It was one of the most incredible things. She'd been training for that moment for many, many years. And it was it was an absolutely wonderful sporting moment. Petra Klingler matches in on that hold to make a big move up and left. It's caused a lot of people trouble, this one. And of course, using that left leg, it was a left leg that she injured. She's got to be really careful about how she twists it and bends it. I was told that she'd be climbing in a knee brace. It's possible that that's underneath her trousers. It's also possible that she's being very stubborn. If I know Petra, I know that she'll opt not to climb in it if she can avoid it. 5 minutes and 50 seconds on the clock for Petra Klingler as she advances towards that bulge. Using that left hand just to find the best position for the tool.
Yeah, it's nice to have your extra tool in the wall so that you can keep your balance a little easier.
Big dynamic move with the left hand, but she hits it first time. Great work from Petra Klingler. 5 minutes and 30 on the clock as she reaches that bulge. That's about 40 seconds faster than a Katerina Vasser was, so she's moving really quickly up this initial section.
Using a lot of power to get into the moves.
And you can see that Stein there. She's really cranking off that inverted axe. 1, to keep it in place, but 2, it also is a very stable position. Up with the left hand, and this is the move we saw in the men's. She's going to rock all the way over with the feet over the top of the bulge. And she's going right this time. Katerina Vasser opted to go all the way over the right hand. Klingler opting to follow the route setter's direction.
I'm not sure about how tall Katerina is compared to Petra. Maybe
Significantly taller. Petra is one of
yeah.
the shortest competitors on the circuit.
So therefore she moves a little differently.
For sure. But she does have a big wingspan, and she does have incredibly strong shoulders, so you can often see her pulling long moves that some of the shorter competitors might not. Nevertheless, she's moving really well. Up above that bulge now, 4 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock. The snow just got heavier all of a sudden.
Really affecting her maybe as well. Not here yet, because here it's so overhanging, you don't really have the snow onto you. But it will get to her later on.
Using that left hand again to find the best position on the hold, just to make sure she's totally secure. Reaches over with the left hand. Oh, pick pop in there. She's going to opt to just use the hand on the hold maybe.
She's definitely checking how good the hold is. It's best to feel that, of course, with your fingers.
Popping again off that right hand. Really hard hold to take. A lot of strength in the shoulder required. Need to be totally secure on it.
It's a very tricky move she's doing right now.
And look at that. Crimps the hold. No surprises there from Petra Klingler as she reaches over into the ice. Unbelievable finger strength. We saw how small that edge was. She just crimped it. No problem at all. Shook the hand as she left the hold. Just to relax her fingers again.
But you have to use the talent you have.
Of course.
That's what you
use
definitely
what you've got.
did there.
She took gold medal in Kirov in 2015. Doing almost exactly that. Bouldering through a sequence that most other people couldn't do. Let's see how she tackles this steep horizontal section.
Taking her rest over here like all the other competitors do as well. It's a good, nice place to rest. And then moving on, and you have to move fast over here. Kicking your feet into the wall again here so that you keep your balance a little easier. Trying to find the right position for your axles again, and she kicks in her feet. Although she has a figure of 4, she still has her feet in the wall. Very nice. And as you see, it's a little tricky if you have your ice axe in your mouth and then trying to hold up the rope. You have to put it in the finger on your ice axe that you're actually holding onto, so you have to have a lot of finger strength.
Reaches over with the left hand off that deep right lock to the edge of the entreprise volume. Reaches down into the ice.
Long move.
Cuts loose
Lovely.
and kicks those feet across, totally in control. Now she needs to really pick up that pace, and look at her running across the ice now.
She knows it. That's really good.
Knowing that she needs to accelerate through this section. There's that awesome angle. Watch how quickly she moves, dancing those feet across that snow-covered ice, having to kick in extra hard because that snow is covering the surface of the ice. Another big move with that right hand.
Crossing
Puts
over.
the heel into the hole there.
Yeah, she uses her heels a little bit. She really has to kick in now with her crampons into the ice. And the ice is a little brittle. That's just the nature of ice. That's a tricky thing.
Takes a second to shake out as she makes this next move. Big kick with the right foot into that wood. Reaches the volume with 120. She is ahead of Katerina Vasser by 20 seconds at this point. She's lost about 20 seconds of time to her original lead of 40 seconds. Moves up with the right hand.
Checks if the holds are okay. Now she really has to move on. Only 1 minute left
Puts
on the
that
clock.
Bigger 9 in over the right hand. Steadies herself. Puts the fig 4 in over the left.
Holding her hand instead of her tool. But it's a big move, even though if you're holding it with your hand.
Takes that hold again with the hand. Big swing with the left hand and hits it
lovely.
again. Petra Klingler with phenomenal hand coordination there to be able to take that hold and swing up off it. She hits the next hold on the arete with the left tool. 30 seconds on the clock. Needs to move really quickly now if she wants to lay claim to that podium position. We know that the other women can move fast. Shaking hard with that left hand, trying to remove that pump. Big reach with the right hand. Hits it first time and pops, but swings, hits it again. Petra Klingler climbing now as fast as she possibly can with 10 seconds on the clock.
Totally pumped, and she has to move on. And trying hard. But she's so pumped, you can see
Makes
that she's
that
pumped.
next move, and that is Petra Klingler's time up. Almost tied almost identical.
Almost identical, yes.
With Katerina Vasser. I think Petra will be ahead of Katerina Vasser there because Petra made the next move up to the hold above the change of angle, whereas Katerina was on the hold at the change of angle.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure Petra will sit in first position now. We'll have to wait and see if Hannah Raesong, Maria Tolonina, Angelica Rhina or Wan Shin can do something about that and beat her. Petra's exhausted. Considering that 2 weeks ago Petra was in hospital seeing a knee specialist, and now she's here in the World Championships of the UIAA try that again, shall I? The World Championships of the UIAA Ice Climbing Tour. I think we could say that was a pretty good effort, Mariam. What do you think?
Definitely a very good effort. She really tried to move on fast, especially in that last very bit when she had only 1 minute left on the clock. It was really nicely moved. We're going on to the next climber at the men's section, I guess.
And of course, Petra talking to the crowd in French. Not only is Petra incredibly strong, but she's also very intelligent. Speaks perfect French, English and German, and probably other languages as well. Next climber on the route, as we see it, is Valentin Covin. Valentin Covin, of course, a Ukrainian athlete. Did very well to qualify yesterday in the semi-finals. He plays 10th overall this season. There's the live results as they stand.
Yes, and as we were guessing, Petra here is number one.
That's a look at Stephen there, our main man on the ground. Challenging conditions, of course, for the camera operators. All this snow on the lenses has to be cleaned off. Valentin Covin using the Stein. For the first time we've seen that move. Other than Radmir Penko, everybody else has opted to skip that move. He reaches up with the left hand, the spotlight on him as he moves the initial moves in the structure. Of course, Valentin Covin placed 10th overall this year, 4th in Durango, 17th in Beijing, 5th in Cheongsong, 6th in Saas-Fee, and 9th in Ravenstein. Very consistent results from him throughout the season.
And just not making it onto the podium, but there is a chance. I mean, this is the World Championships. Everything can happen. Let's
Hits that disc with 1:47 elapsed, 5:13 left on the clock. That's pretty much the same time as Radmir Penko.
We saw Radmir really slowing down at the end. Let's see if he can keep him steady.
Of course, Radmir fell with the foot pop.
Yep.
At the steep traverse. Was climbing very, very quickly, and much quicker than we'd seen any of the other competitors climb. Valentin Covin will look to do something similar. Reaches up with the left hand to the hanging box.
Also nicely into a figure of 9 and kicking his foot a little bit into the wall over there to keep his balance. Because you're really swinging with your body if you're moving over there. Taking it backwards into the next hold and straight into a figure for a perfect movement over there.
Left leg using on the underside of the volume to stabilize himself with the right leg over the left hand for the fig 4. Swings those feet high. Left leg over the right hand again in the figure 4. Sorts the clip so that he can make it. Make sure that there's nothing in the way. And another big reach up for that hold on the right side of the EP volume. We'll see him match that hold, do a big move out left. Ready to kick his feet across to that ice. Takes the right hand as a backhand. Takes that small edge. Kicks it. Oh, and the right hand pops. Manages to hold it. Valentin Covin, great composure. Very close. Uses his legs to bend and kill that swing. Any more and he would have popped off the hold.
That was very strong.
Did a great job there, staying on the wall. He now needs to catch his breath and move in the best form that he can. Moves over, left hand to that edge. Onto the ice. Now, we've seen a lot of the athletes accelerate through this ice section. Let's see if Covin does the same. Has to reach behind himself to make this clip. Makes the clip, no problem.
Crossing over with his tools. Maybe that's even more efficient.
Kicking into the ice as he moves leftwards.
just as we did see it previously with Petra also crossing over. He does the same kind of thing.
Valentin Covin approaching that hanging splinter feature.
And this is smart. He has 1 foot now in the wood wall already. And it's easier to keep your balance in the wood compared to the ice. The ice is a little bit unpredictable.
2 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock for Valentin Covin. Takes the hold on the bottom of that hanging splinter and will need to commit all the way around to the other side, as you see there.
Lovely technique because he already had his feet in. It takes a little more less energy. He has a high tool on that one. That takes more energy compared to taking it lower onto your tool.
Moves down onto the base of that EP volume and climbs up high with the left tool. This is the point where we need to see the athletes climb quickly along that plywood section that you see extending to his left. This is the start of that tricky traverse. Mohammad Reza, Radmir Penko and Alexi Denan have all made it this far. Varying levels of this traverse have caused them to fall. He opts to skip that hold the way we saw everybody else do. Reaches over with the right hand. Powerful shoulder move required to take that next hold with the left.
Kicking into the ice a little lower, but he's a pretty tall competitor, so I'm not surprised that he kicks into the ice instead of into the wood panel.
Just taking a second to shake. 1 minute and 15 seconds. Left hand over to the top screw on hold on that AIX volume.
Looking on to the next hold, is he going to skip it? No, he's going to take it as well. You have to.
Needs to move very quickly now. Alexi Denan is ahead of him at this point. Radmir Penko was way ahead of him, but of course Penko fell on this move. So if he can stick this next move, then he'll be ahead of Penko. But the standard of the competitors as they arrive later in the competition is going to be going up, and the speed is going to be following.
You really see he's having difficulties as well with his feet. He really has to have his feet in there, and he holds it.
Very
That's
powerful
very
move on that
strong.
undercut. 30 seconds on the clock for Valentin Covin.
He's shaking out his hands, trying to accelerate for the next move again, kicking in his feet again.
Big move with the left hand, hits it first time. Now you can see he's got to climb upwards to that extended feature above him.
And he's only 10 seconds now. Ooh.
8 seconds on the clock for Valentin Covin. Every move he makes is going to be putting him higher in that ranking, giving him a better position for that result later. And that's the time as he finishes on that EP volume. Makes the clip anyway. Valentin Covin putting in a great effort and climbing to a very similar position as Alexi Denan. Let's see the scores. Don't forget, you can see the scores live. All you have to do is go to results.theuiaa.org. You'll be able to see all the results as they happen. Click on the live results tab. It's all on there. We'll have the results for you any second. And before that, of course, our next athlete will be joining us. The next athlete in the ladies' competition will be Hannah Ray Song. Hannah Ray took gold medal overall this season. She had an absolutely incredible season. Started off in Durango, little bit sketchy. She finished 6th with a foot pop high in the finals route. She then picked up a game and took a bronze in Beijing, and then switched it on. Cheongsong, she took gold. Sazfei, she took gold. Rabenstein, she took gold. Totally dominant and very, very impressive work from the 24-year-old Korean. There she is on the bottom of your screen. She wants that world championship. We'll have to see. She's got what it takes to get onto the top spot of the podium. Warms up her arms for one last time before she starts to climb. And here she goes, climbing up the ice on the first moves.
Really jumping with her feet, making a little bit more speed over there. This ice section is not so difficult, but you have to be fast. And moving nicely on this first hold. See how she moves with her super sharp ice axes. She's got slightly different ice axes compared to the other competitors.
What differentiates them, Mariam?
just fell.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no.
I looked to Marianne to ask her a question. And Hannah Ray's song
She pops.
was off the wall.
That was... Yeah.
Another massive surprise and huge disappointment. 3 climbers now have fallen victim to those delicate low moves. Let's see that back if we can.
Yeah, she perfectly kicks in her feet.
Reaches
That
up,
goes nicely.
matches that tool in the high grip. Watch that right tool.
Very securely goes. Just thinks it's there, and it's not.
Gosh, the right hand blew, the left hand
Yep.
blew, everything went at the same time. And that's Hannah Rai Song's World Championship final over.
Her
well,
left hand, yeah.
She was a favourite to win, and now she will be in last place. Absolute disappointment for her. Such a shame. Very, very upsetting moment for her. But like we said, Marianne, this is competitions.
This is competitions. I know all about it. Blowing off in the start of the finals, and that's you just sometimes it happens. You always want it to happen on the moment that it doesn't matter, and sometimes in your career there's going to be a moment that it happens when
Well,
it does matter, like today for Hannah Rai.
Hyung Park will be our next climber, and Hyung Park, of course, is also the overall World Cup winner. He was the men's lead World Cup winner and had a similarly impressive record this season. He started off in Durango, also 6th, same as Hannah Rai Song. Didn't take bronze in Beijing, he took silver in Beijing, and then Chongsong gold, Sasfei gold, Rabenstein gold. Amazing end of the season for him, which secured him that overall first place ranking. Hopefully, he won't make the same mistake that we just saw Hannah Rai Song make, and hopefully Hyung Park will be able to climb this route much higher and place his
Higher.
bid.
Yeah, he's a
for
very
the World
dynamic climber.
Championships.
And because he's so dynamic, it might be just his route to climb onto there. You have to be fast. There's not much time on the clock. And he's technical, he's dynamic, so let's see what he can do over here. I spoke to him in the qualifications, and he wasn't so happy with his qualifications. He was complaining that he was too slow. So maybe actually that works good with his mind, and he will move a little faster right now because he will need it.
Well, he is tying in. You can see him on the bottom right-hand side of your screen there. And that will be the line that he takes up that route. And there, of course, is that fantastic structure here in Champagny-En-Vanoise, in the La Plagne region of the Rhone Alps. There he is, just making those last preparations in his head before he starts to climb.
Taking a little bit of snow off his shoes, that's why he did a little jump over there. Shaking his arms and everything, so he's all the way ready in the cold over here. Although it's not that cold actually. It's at about, I think, like -5 or even a little less. So it's not that bad.
Hyung Park moves up with the right hand into that ice structure, moving very quickly up those first moves. Very confident climber. As Marianne said, very dynamic climber. Look at that, no hesitation at all. This is going to be interesting, looking at those splits between each section. Big reach with the right hand to the base of that entreprise volume. If you wanted action, this is the place to see it. Hyung Park always delivers a show. Even if he doesn't top, he always delivers a show. Reaches that roof. Absolutely rapid. Makes the double clip. Easy mistake. If you miss that second clip there, you're disqualified. So he spots that and makes it. Reaches up with the right hand. Hyung Park, world number 1, looking to take the top spot here at the World Championships.
Carefully moving on this one. It is not an easy move.
Moves
Moving
over
up nicely.
with that left foot to change his centre of gravity and reaches over with the right hand to the top of that EP volume. Right hand side of that EP volume, of course, with that big hold. Let's see if he opts to skip the move. Takes the hold with his hand, just like we saw Mohammad Reza Safdarian do.
Very smart. It
Makes
gives
the
you more
clip.
height.
Kicks in hard with that right foot and reaches over with the right hand. Big move into the underside of that volume, into that undercut. Look how powerful that move is. All the strength in the left hand. 5 minutes and 27 seconds on the clock for Hyung Park. He is about 15 seconds faster than Valentin Covin was, and about 12 seconds faster than Radmir Penko was. So he's moving very quickly at this point and is ahead of them. Stands high into the ice. Great hip flexibility from Hyung Park. And look at that, he's going to move directly up, makes the clip, and starts the quest into the steepest section of the route.
Moving nicely. He's going straight into a figure of 4 here. That's interesting, because most of the climbers are going into a figure of 9 on this one. It'll take him one extra move again. There he goes.
Reaches backwards with that left hand through the roof section into the figure 4, using that left leg to stabilize himself against the roof and the volume, using the right leg to hold himself over that left hand. Big reach with the right hand for Hyung Park, climbing very, very well.
Yeah, and that was dynamic. That's definitely what he needs to do. He's not the tallest climber in the whole competition, so he needs to move dynamically as well. And again, perfect dynamic movement, perfect hit on that
Look at
hold.
that body position, putting his feet incredibly high, orientating himself totally horizontally to make that move across to the ice even more efficient. 4 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock. Hyung Park needs to pick up that pace and keep moving quickly. Kicks across, takes that tool in his mouth. Look at that, very experienced competitor, opting instead to reach behind him like the other competitors to pull that rope. He just clips the quick draw onto the rope attached to his harness. Much more energy efficient, much more time efficient. Those little things make all the difference in the Ice Climbing World Cup, and Hyung Park is a master of those little things.
Those little things, they take you less seconds. It's definitely a matter of seconds on getting higher, but every little move that takes you half a second less will make you so much faster in the end, because it's a lot of movements he has to do.
Hyung Park reaches the underside of that splinter feature. He's got to climb downwards and left. Puts in the fig 4 with the left hand. Reaches down onto that EP volume, and look at that, such fluid movement, kicks underneath that volume into the plywood, takes the right hand, makes the move up with the left, and now he's going to enter that steep traverse section. Another high clip from Hyung Park.
Oh, you saw there lovely how small this hold is he's actually taking right now. You have to move so carefully on that hold. It's nice to see.
Takes the left hand very precisely, matches in with the right. Another big move to go. Puts the fig 4 in over the right hand and opts to lean over to the top hold of the 2 on the AIX volume. Kicks across. Look how high his feet are. Cipovin's feet were in the ice. Hyung Park's feet are almost up round his hands. Not only is he a shorter competitor, but he is so flexible. Shifting between that next volume, places that left tool. Look at that steepness. He is completely inverted on that traverse section. Another big move to make. He is absolutely flying.
Shaking out exactly at the right time. Really setting for the next move. This is a really powerful move where we saw most people cut off with their feet, but he holds it perfectly fine over there.
To give you an idea how fast Hyung Park's moving, he's 1 minute and 30 seconds faster than Valentin Covin was. 35 seconds faster than Alexi Denan was. He's in fact more than that, 45 seconds. He's moving so unbelievably quickly. Right foot over the left hand, big reach with the right hand to that EP volume. This is where we saw Cipovin time out, but Hyung Park still has 1 minute and 32 seconds on the clock, and he's climbing upwards, up that triangle, where this route will finish. So much time. He's got time to spare here. Very powerful move. Look at the size of that hold. The edge that he's hanging is absolutely minuscule. Takes the hold with the left hand. Matches in with the right tool.
Oh, this uses so much body tension. You have to have so much body tension to be able to have such a little hold over there.
Big reach with the right hand to the underside of that EP volume. Look at him go. Left hand this time. Gonna use that as an undercut. Big swing with the right hand, and that's the last hold. Hyung Park with 54 seconds on the clock. Needs to make that last clip, and you can bet that there'll be the Hyung Park celebration. This is an incredible attempt from him. 46 seconds on the clock when he tops. And let's see if he does his signature move, of course, the Hyung Park backflip. He waves to the crowd, climbs onto the top of the structure. Every time he's won this season, he's done that. Doesn't look like there's a backflip today. Perhaps no platform really for him to stand on. Amazing work from Hyung Park. Marianne, that was amazing.
That was a great climb. This was just as it's supposed to be. Dynamic, strong, big moves, and all the way perfectly in time. Efficient clipping, efficient movement of his ice axes. That was just how it's supposed to be.
He doesn't even look out of breath. Now, what's worth pointing out here is the next climber is Jannis Volack. He'll be followed by Nikolai Klev. Volack is a very powerful climber. Not the fastest, but very, very powerful. Nikolai Klev has taken gold medals in speed. And again, he's not the fastest lead climber, but he definitely has power. The final climber this evening will be Yanik Glatard. And if anybody can climb faster than Hyung Park and more dynamically than Hyung Park, it's Yanik Glatard. He's only 19 years old. He climbed like I've never seen anyone climb before in Rabenstein last week. And due to a very small mistake, popped off the route. He would have been much faster than Hyung. Yanik Glatard just needing that little bit of luck to be on his side for when he actually will take his first gold medal. And what a fairy tale it would be for him to do it at the World Championships. But Hyung Park, at the moment, sits in first place with a top with 46 seconds to spare.
And
Amazing
Maria
work
just
from the Korean.
started her climb.
Maria Tolonina now begins on the left-hand side of the wall.
Moving through the ice. She's a speed climber as well, so no problem with the ice section over here. But she's one of the smaller competitors too, so these moves will be very tricky in the start.
Big reach off that left hand, up with the right.
But she's strong.
Maria Tolonina, of course, took gold medal in the World Championship speed event this morning. She beat Katerina Vasser, who took silver, and of course Nadia Galyamova took bronze. In the men's competition, third place.
It's an interesting
in that
undercut.
Stein there. Sorry, Marianne?
Yeah, it's an interesting undercut she's holding with her left right now. It's what her just made the mistake on using it as a top hold. And moving high onto the next one.
As I was saying, in the speed event, Leonid Malik took third place. Second place was taken by Vladimir Kartashev, and first place was taken by Pavel Batashev. Amazing work from the Russian team. Matches in with the tools to place the fig four over the right hand.
Using the wall with her hand slightly for her balance. Nicely using a figure four over there. We saw the other competitors not all using the same kind of movement over there, which she reaches as easily.
Maria Tolonina, of course, one of the most decorated competitors in lead and speed. She took overall titles in 2009, 2013, 2014 and 2016. This year she finished bronze medal position in the overall competition. She took 8th in Durango, 1st in Beijing, 20th in Cheongsong, 4th in Saas-Fee and 2nd in Rabenstein last week. Not the most consistent season for her. Of course, if you look at last year's rounds, she took 1st overall with gold medals in Bozeman, Cheongsong and Saas-Fee. So she'll be looking to take a double world championship title here. Makes the clip at the bulge with 5 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock.
And taking the undercut nicely. Let's see how she does this next section, because we saw the other competitors. We saw now Petra is still having her feet on the left side, and we saw Mariam really moving onto the right side already. Dynamic move over there, changing her hands. Oh, lovely movement. Yeah, here you go. Perfect, nice movement there with her feet moving up high, so she could easily reach for the next hold. Very powerful. You see her locking off, but she's not just locking off, she's really pushing further than just locking off itself.
Maria Tolonina moves up to the underside of that EP volume. And she's going to head rightwards into the ice and over to that free hanging box.
Matching nicely. Ah, and this is nice. She's not even taking the rest.
But she will take that clip. gets it swinging so that it comes back towards her in that hanging ice position. Of course, as she sits there, she is one of the shorter competitors, making that reach easier, of course, being more efficient. She is slightly behind Petra Klingler in time at this moment. Only a few seconds between them.
That's not much. She might make it up. Because she moves very efficiently over here. Having her feet onto the wall, not only being in a figure of 9, but having her 1 foot on the wall as well. We just don't see where she's moving right now. Oh, with the snow, it's hard to see for us even.
Reaches up with that left hand to that tiny edge on the underside of the volume. Shakes out as she reaches across into the ice.
Going to make
places that right hand
big
tool.
Move. Lovely.
Makes the move over. 2 minutes 50 on the clock for Maria Tolonina. Looking really, really strong. Needs to accelerate through this ice section. It's imperative that if she wants to be in with a chance of beating Petra Klingler's high point, that she accelerates through this part. Of course, Petra Klingler sits in first place, ahead of Vlasova, McSwigan and Philippov.
Moving nicely on. She's a speed climber, so I guess she's going to move fast in this bit. Yes, she does.
And takes that volume with 2 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock. She's actually gained time now on Klingler.
She's not taking a single bit of rest. She's not hanging and shaking out. Ooh, this will take her a little bit of extra time. That's a pity.
Makes the clip, reaches over with the right hand, and this is where we saw Klingler lose a little bit more time. This is where Petra took the hold with her right hand instead of a tool, and then opted to lock down off it. Tolonina's opted for a fig 9. Reaches up, takes that hold, no problem at all with the left tool.
Wow.
Into the fig 4 very quickly, back into the 9. Moves over to the arete. She's absolutely flying now. Maria Tolonina changing gears, picking up that pace. Makes the clip. The challenging conditions, no problem for this young lady. There's a reason why last year she was number 1 in the world in lead and speed. There's a reason why this year she's number 3 in the world in lead and number 1 in speed, and she's going to be looking to take that world championship title. Of course, Hannah Rai-Song's out of the competition. She would have been one of the main challengers.
Oh, she's moving so fast right now. She's really, really, really fast.
In that Stein, she reaches up to make the clip. Makes it no worries and reaches across to the apex of that EP volume. Reaches over with the left hand.
She's not there yet though, but she's moving so much.
Another big move underneath that volume. Oh, she misses it first time. Big swing required. Hits the hook second time. Needs to be strong in the core here because that hold could pop any second. Another big reach and she hooks on top of the volume
lovely.
there with the right hand. Makes the clip. She has 2 more moves to go. Maria Tolonina with 34 seconds on the clock.
And you can see the top. She's almost there. She's
Right
almost
hand
there.
up. All she has to do is place the left hand on that blue.
Oh,
She's off! Maria Tolonina falls with 24 seconds on the clock. 1 more move to make before the top. And that is it for her. She goes into first position. She knows that that might not be enough. Most competitors would be very happy with that, but Maria Tolonina knows that only a top would give her a very good chance of being on the top spot of the podium. And with Angelica Rhina and Wan Shin still to climb, Maria Tolonina will have to watch with gritted teeth and bated breath because it's going to be exciting.
Oh, this was so close. She was so close. And I already saw her shaking when she came down. She was like, no, this is not enough. This is not enough. And it might just not be good enough. I'm not really sure, but we'll see what the other 2 competitors are going to do.
Wan Shin been quite inconsistent this year. Theories are that she's been too strong almost for the routes, climbing much faster than she has done in the past. She will want to take that top spot. Then Angelica Rhina, again, not quite had the season she was hoping for, but at the same time, managed to finish 2nd overall. She took overall titles in 2012 and 2015. She'll want this World Championship here in Champagny. But before all that, Jannis Volack will be joining us on the men's route, and Maria Tolonina will have a quick chat with the crowd.
She's probably trying to talk in English. We can't really understand what she's saying from over here. She's trying to be happy with it, but I'm not sure. She's such an athlete. I'm not sure if she's going to be happy with this.
Not only is Maria Tolonina an incredible athlete, but she's also a mother of 2.
Oh, yes.
Amazing work that she manages to train to this standard and look after 2 kids and work a job. Jannis Volack begins his attempt at this men's final route, and of course Jannis last year took gold medal, his first ever in Rabenstein. He finished 3rd overall in the season. This year he finished 7th overall. He made every finals apart from Rabenstein, ironically. He took 8th in Durango, 5th in Beijing, 6th in Cheongsong, and also 5th in Sazfei. Let's see how he copes with this men's finals route here in the World Championships.
Yeah, and he's a really strong climber. He's still very young, still a lot to learn, but he's learned so much already in those previous competitions. He's routined right now. And he takes the undercut as well over here, like we saw the others. Some of the others skip the hold.
Only 2 people, Jannis included, have taken that hold. Radmir Penko also used that Stein. Everybody else has opted to skip it.
And it takes kind of time taking an extra hold, obviously, but if you're not completely secure, it's smart to do. You don't want to fall off in the start.
Jannis Volack now reaching up to that very small right hand undercut and takes the disc, makes the clip first in fact, takes the disc with 5 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock. That's slightly behind the pace that we saw Hyung Park and Valentin Covin and Radmir Penko climbing, but it is ahead of where we saw Mohammad Reza Safdarian and Alexi Denan. Of course, those 2 guys both reaching that high traverse position. Only Hyung Park topping this route so far with 46 seconds on the clock. So, to beat Hyung Park, Jannis Volack will have to top the route, and he'll have to top it quicker than him. So we'll need to see an acceleration in pace.
Yeah, he looks a little insecure on that one. But going nicely into figure 4.
Fig 4 on the hanging box and reaches behind him. Everybody else in the Fig 9. Jannis using those incredibly strong shoulders to just skip that Fig 9, use it off the 4. Kicks into the underside of that box. Look at that. Incredible core strength. No Fig 4. Almost DTS. This guy.
Wow.
He is so unbelievably strong, Jannis Volack. Such a shame that he's not quite had the season he wanted, because there's no doubt about it. He's on the form of his life. Fitter and stronger than he's ever been. Just needs to find that flow.
I loved it that he didn't take the figure 4, just moving on straight away into the next one, and there he goes. Oh, and holding it. This saves him time.
And
this is not bad at all.
Little moves will help to bring back some of that time that he is behind on Hyung Park.
And he's moving past the clip. That's a smart thing to do, so it's easier to clip.
Opts to use the rope to clip rather than the draw, but no problem there, and he needs to keep picking up that pace. Kicks into the ice, reaches up to the base of that splinter. First he'll clip.
Just not reaching completely, but there he goes. He's actually speeding up a little bit, isn't he?
He certainly looks like he's climbing faster, but he's got a lot of work to do, and this hesitation won't do him well. He needs to be moving quicker if he wants to take the top spot from Hyung Park.
He skipped it.
Of course he skipped it.
Yeah,
this guy is on another planet. Jannis Volack is climbing extremely well right now. So good to see him on form. Skips the move. He's completely inverted, different to anybody else we've seen, into the Fig 9.
Is he going to
heel
heel
expecting
hook
him to skip the next move.
Yes, he's going to heel hook it. That's a very nice movement.
But that heel is going to keep his hips to the right, and he needs to move them to the left for this next move. Releases the heel hook. Reaches down with the left hand, really strong. Look at that core tension. Kicks into the ply. Up with the left hand.
Trying to find the position. This hold is very small. You really have to hold it very stable to be able to make the clip and the next move. Kicking into the ice.
And now Jannis Volack needs to really pick up the pace. He's got just over 2 minutes left on the clock. Hyung Park at this point was already at the end of the traverse, so he's quite a few moves behind him.
Yeah, he has to move on, but he is moving on. He's not shaking out. He's just continuously moving.
Kicks in high with that left foot, reaches up to make the clip with the right hand. Edging towards those volumes.
Trying to figure out the next move. Taking the next side hold. And then you have to move backwards a little bit.
Left hand down to
Nice
the
one.
bottom left hand corner of that volume. Kicks into the ice.
Yeah, he kicks into the ice, but he also keeps his foot in the wood. Which I think is a good thing, because the wood is far more stable than the brittle ice. Ooh, there he goes down again.
Left hand underneath that volume into that powerful undercut position, which scuppered Alexi Denan,
Lovely.
scuppered Mohammad Reza and Radmir Penko, but not Jannis Volack, who powers up off
Easy.
that move with the left hand. Very, very strong for Jannis Volack. Matches in on that hold to take a second to shake. The first time we've seen him do that for a while.
He makes it look like it's so easy on that move there, but it's a really tall move, and you can see over here in the detail how small this hold it is
Well,
that he's
the
actually taking
46
there.
second mark has gone. Oh, and Jannis Volack takes a big fall there, inverting on his way down. I think that puts him ahead of Valentin Covin because he'd moved past the change of angle, so that'll put him into second place so far.
It was a lovely climb. It was really nice to see
Jannis
him climb.
Volack climbed really well there. We'll be able to see that fall again in replay and work out exactly what happened. But that was a brilliant effort from the young Slovenian. Just catching his breath before Philippe, the speaker, grabs him for a quick word. So watch this again. He goes up with the right hand.
Doesn't really
Left
figure
hand
out.
pops.
Yeah.
His right hand hadn't quite settled. And his left popped. And his right foot was still stuck in the ply, which is what caused him to invert. Quickly righted himself. He'll be fine. And that puts him into second place. He'll be followed by Nikolai Klev and Yanik Glatard. But before that, we'll see Angelica Rhina climb in the ladies' route. She's just tying in. Jannis Volack having a quick chat with Philippe before talking. And then going back, of course, to the transition zone to pick up his clothes and get warm. And he'll wait and see if it's enough to stay on that podium.
Angelica doing her last preparations before she starts on her climb. Getting her gloves on. That's a smart thing that she didn't have her gloves on yet, so it keeps her gloves very dry. You want to keep as much grip as possible, and the wetness doesn't give you any grip, of course.
Now, what we've seen this season for Angelica Rhina, she's been very, very strong. Another athlete who arguably is at the top of her physical game. But there's been one move that scuppered her a couple of times. In fact, 3 times. Once in Cheongsong, once in Sasfei, and once in Rabenstein. The very powerful undercut move that we saw in the Rabenstein finals, a Stein pull into an undercut and locking up and off it with the right hand. It stopped her 3 times in this competition, but I haven't seen any of those in the finals.
No.
I think Angelica Rhina, on the form of her life, if she stays calm and collected, could be a contender for the top spot here at the World Championships, especially considering that move that's caused her so much trouble is nowhere to be seen. Angelica Rhina moves up with the right hand off that left hand Stein to the double clip and continues up the plywood structure.
I don't think it's only because it's not in the finals, this kind of move, but I think over the past week she's been training this kind of moves as well. She's very good in analyzing what she's done wrong, what she can do better, and how to do proper training. So therefore she might even be stronger in the moves. Maybe this is going to be her climb.
Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to stick with the action and watch.
Such an interesting hold. I think this hold is new to all the competitors and making it real onside climbing.
To give you an update on the results so far in the men's competition, 6th place is Mohammad Reza of Iran, 5th place Radmir Penko of Russia, 4th place Valentin Covin of Ukraine, 3rd place and sitting in a bronze medal position Alexi Denan of Russia, 2nd place and sitting in a silver medal position Jannis Volack of Slovenia, and 1st place sitting in the gold medal position is Hyung Park of Korea. In the ladies competition, obviously we have Angelica Rhina climbing this second. She reaches that bulge with 5:24 on the clock. Very, very fast, and in fact only Petra Klingler has been faster to that point. In 6th place, McSwigan of Ireland. 5th place, Hannah Song of Korea. 4th place, Mariam Philippov of Russia. 3rd place, and sitting in a bronze medal position, is a Katerina Vasser, also of Russia. 2nd place, sitting in a silver medal position, is Petra Klingler. And sitting currently in the gold medal position, just short of the top, is Maria Tolonina of Russia. Angelica Rhina now climbing as fast as she can.
Yeah, and Angelica is moving really efficient. I see it in her foot placement. There are not many foot placements she's making. And the more foot placements you make, the more movements you make in between the holds itself. That obviously takes you every little bit of second extra.
Michael Sun's got in touch from Korea. Must be very late for you now, Michael. And he says the next top will be Wan Shin. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case. Robert Brett Schneider says, great climbing, everybody. Martin Hjarler says, come on, Angie. Lots of support for Angie on social media. Don't forget, you can get in touch on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Leave a comment on the live chat on YouTube and Facebook. And drop a tweet on Twitter using the hashtag UIAA Ice Climbing. We'll do our best to stay updated with that. Of course, we don't have a Wi-Fi connection here in Champagny, so we're relying on the data, which is a little bit sporadic. But when we can get information and comments from you guys, we will do, and we'll do our best to answer questions and give you guys shout-outs. Of course, if you're tuned in on Empora or the Olympic Channel, a very warm welcome to the broadcast. It's great to have you on board. And, of course, a warm welcome to all our UIAA regular viewers too. 3 minutes 28 on the clock for Angelica Rhina as she advances into that head wall position to move right onto the ice. Just hesitating there and taking a second.
It's not an easy hold she's holding on to. It's a long move that where she's going for.
And she reaches into the back of the ice, which is where Petra Klingler reached. And then takes those blue holds.
Now she knows she has to move. The ice is not very difficult, but you have to be fast. Now she makes the clip easy. In the snow it's kind of difficult to find the quick draws right now. The snow is still going on. Moving sideways. Changing her hands on every ice tool. But she's making very fast movements with her feet. Ooh, that's a tricky thing. Her ice axe was stuck there for a little second. But taking the next clip easily.
She traverses rightwards round the structure. Looking at the times, Maria Tolonina was ahead of her at this point by quite some margin. But of course Maria didn't top. If Angie tops, then she will be sitting in that gold medal position. 2 minutes and 6 seconds as she reaches that disc. That's 12 seconds behind Tolonina.
But knowing Angelica, if she doesn't have much time left, she can still move on of the holds easily. She doesn't pump so easily, although she was already shaking a little bit. Oh, this is so... You see how easy she makes this move. That is just perfect.
Amazing technique. And look at that double heel hook on the top side of the volume there. Keeping those hips nice and close to the wall. Taking that jug with her hand. Reaching over with the left tool. Angelica Rhina is moving incredibly well and so confidently right now. It's brilliant to see. She looks absolutely on form. 1 minute and 19 seconds on the clock. She's purely climbing for the top here. That's all she has to do is to top this route. And that will put her into first place with only one more climber to go. Angelica Rhina shakes out on that hold. She's got a few more moves to go. Sketchy position there, putting the harness at the tool on the leg like that.
The axe has got a pretty good angle for her leg, actually.
It'd be pretty bad if it fell off, though. I'd much rather it was in my teeth, I think. Into the Stein at the bottom left-hand side of that extended triangle.
Pushing high, she's really using her legs over here.
Look at that strength.
Not far she has to go. But she has to move fast to beat Maria right now.
All she has to do is top. Reaches over with the right hand into that hooked position. Kicks those feet across very, very quickly. Reaches up again. She needs to take that next hold as the hook. 19 seconds. Makes the clip. She's got 2 more moves to go. 15 seconds on the clock. Into the fig 4. reaches up with the right hand into that sketchy position. All she has to do is touch that last hold. She's ahead of Maria Tolonina. She's got 5 seconds. All she needs to do is clip and match. 4, 3, 2, 1. She does it! She tops and matches on the buzzer. And look how happy she is. Finally, Angelica Rhina finishes in a gold medal position, and she knows that she has done enough. That puts the pressure on for Wan Shin. Of course, Wan Shin has no idea what's just happened, other than the fact that the crowd will have gone wild and that Angie is a very happy bunny. Mariam, that was impressive.
Oh, that was such great climbing, and just what she needed to do at the end. She did keep her pace, although she had to shake a couple of times. She did keep her pace, and it was lovely to see.
That was absolutely 100% timed to perfection. From the moment she left the ground to the moment she clipped those chains, not a second was wasted, not a second was spared. It was perfect. Look at that. That was literally...
That was a perfect clip.
0. Like, unbelievable work from Angelica Rhina. Phenomenal.
Very,
on top
very
of the
good
world
climb.
right now. And of course, next up, we're going to have our penultimate male climber, Nikolai Klev. Angelica Rhina waves to the crowd and
just
walks
started his climb
over back to the transition zone to get her jacket, and no doubt go and give Marco, her coach and partner, a big hug. Amazing work from Angelica Rhina. And then you see her walking back through that arch out of the competition arena. And now, of course, Nikolai Klev starts to climb. Nikolai, again, has had a very good season. He took a gold medal in speed in Durango. He's also had a very good lead season as well. Finished second overall, took a silver in Durango, first position and a gold medal in Beijing, 11th in Cheongsong, 4th in Saspei, and then finished with a bronze medal in Rabenstein. Not bad. 3 medals to his name at the end of the season and a second place overall. Big reach with that left hand off that right hook on the side of the volume there for Klev.
He's moving fast.
He's moving very fast. 34-year-old Russian is no stranger to moving fast. He was in the speed finals earlier today. He got knocked out of the quarterfinals by Leonid Malik. Leonid was absolutely ruthless today. Reaches the disc with 5 minutes and 42 seconds on the clock. That is the fastest we've seen anybody get there so far. And in fact, he's about 15 seconds faster than Hyung Park was at that point. Of course, Hyung Park, the only climber to top the route so far. And I don't know if you can tell on screen, but it just started snowing very, very heavily here in Champagny.
The snow is huge.
I can barely see the wall across from us. Not sure if a tree just fell over or something, but anyway, there's a lot of snow coming down. Kicks into the underside of that EP volume.
And he's moving so fast.
And again, opting to go DTS, dry tool style. No Fig 4s or Fig 9s through that steep section. Just putting the Fig 4 in at the end to make the clip. Very, very efficient.
I love the DTS style. It's a really nice style. It takes so much power to move on.
If you're wondering what the DTS style is, it's a style that was began in France in the early 2000s. And it's essentially dry tooling with no heel hooks, no Fig 4s and no Fig 9s. Everything has to be done front on and as powerfully as possible. And the dry tooling style then toured around the world, and it actually was a competition tour called the Dry Tool DTS Tour.
Lovely tour.
Amazing tour. And now that DTS style is a widely regarded ethic amongst passionate dry toolers. Nikolai Klev reaches that overhanging splinter with 4 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock, opts to go for the first hold on the right hand side.
And you see you got a little darker over here. You can clearly see that there's got a spot on now.
We've got the spot on Nikolai Klev as he moves leftwards onto that entreprise volume.
That's such a fast move. He does it again.
Just very quick. He's moving so
really
confidently.
Quick.
He knows that Hyung Park climbs quickly. He knows that Yanik Glatard climbs quickly. He knows that if he wants to take that top spot, he too will have to climb very quickly indeed.
Kicking his feet in fast. He takes a little rest over here, but I think that's a very smart thing to do because the next moves are going to be rather difficult again. moving downwards over here, and he still keeps his feet in the wood as well.
Kozlovlev moves left again onto that wooden volume and then to the underside of it. Now check this out for a statistic, Marianne. When he takes that hold, 3 minutes and 7 seconds. That's a whole minute and 4 seconds.
That is so
faster
fast.
than Jean Park.
It's funny, some climbers, they move fast, but you don't really see it. But here you see just the kicking, the movement of his ice axe. Everything is fast. His brain must work so fast to actually understand what he's doing with his body. It's really good to see.
I think it's fair to say that Nikolai Kozlovlev means business here today, especially after he didn't take a medal in the speed. He definitely wants one in the lead, and he wants the gold. Nikolai Kozlovlev moving up now to the apex of that triangle. Just a few moves separate him and the gold medal position.
Tricky next move. We saw the other ones really trying to find out the right position with their ice tools.
Still has so much time to spare here. Nikolai Kozlovlev matches in with that left hand. Big reach up and right now to the top hand. There it is, the bottom left hand side of that wooden volume. Another excellent move.
You see the snow sticking onto the holds over here, but it doesn't really matter for the climbing itself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nikolai Kozlovlev, with 1 minute and 58 seconds on the clock, has only got 2 more moves to make to top this route. There's... Oh, no, he's off!
No!
I cannot believe what just happened!
He just missed the undercut.
He went for the fig 4 instead of the undercut to go for the finish, skipped the move.
Oh!
And Nikolai Kozlovlev, with more time on the clock than anybody else, just made a massive, massive mistake. A mistake that will cost him that gold medal. He will sit now in a silver medal position.
That was so close to gold, though. If he moved into the undercut, that's a pity. It was such a perfect climb.
It was a flawless climb. And look, you see the underside of that volume. That's where the hold was that he should have used. But instead, he reached up with the right hand off the fig 4, the left hand on the fig 4, missed the last hold. No top for Nikolai Kozlovlev, and he knows that he should have made that move. What a shame.
Looking up again and thinking like, oh gosh, if, but that's always the thing, you can think about it afterwards, but you have to do it at that moment.
Those tiny little details counting for everything here in the finals of the Lead World Championships. Of course, a big thank you to our sponsors of the event, the North Face. You can see a big North Face banner on the screen there.
Oh, you definitely need your North Face jacket right now here in the snow.
The North Face Korea is the title sponsor of all of the UIAA Ice Climbing World Cups. And of course the World Championships too. Now, speaking of the North Face, there's a North Face athlete. Wan Shin qualified in first place here in Champagny yesterday in the semi-finals. And she will need to top this route faster than Angelica Rhina, which is basically faster than 1 second before the buzzer.
Oh, she's doing those first moves pretty fast through the ice. A little faster than Angelica, I guess.
We'll be able to get a good indication of exactly how fast she's moving as she reaches that bulge.
Yeah, out here we're taking the time every time, so we kind of know how fast everybody is.
Wan Shin
taking that hold perfectly, where we saw others already fall off.
Had a slightly inconsistent season, Wan Shin. She is the reigning world champion. She took the gold medal here 2 years ago. Finished 4th overall this season. She took a gold medal in Durango, silver in Beijing. She took a 16th position. 16th medal? That'd be a good medal, wouldn't it?
Nice one.
16th position at her home comp in Cheongsong, which was a big shocker for everybody there. 23rd in Sasfei. It looked like it was all downhill from there for her, but then managed to claw it back and took a bronze medal in Rabenstein last week. She wants to better that.
Didn't she win last week? Oh no, she had not such a good climb last year in Rabenstein either, right?
Hannah Ray Song won in Rabenstein last year.
Yeah, that's true.
The only competition that Maria Tolonina didn't win a gold medal.
And there she goes. What's her time? 6:01.
6 minutes as she takes the bottom of that bulge. In fact, probably faster. I would say maybe 6:05, which puts her, get this, 45 seconds ahead of Angelica Rhina. Very,
That's
very
a lot
quick
fast.
indeed. And Angelica was moving very quick. She was a whole minute faster than Maria Tolonina. and 35 seconds faster than Petra Klingler. Wan Shin is moving very, very well.
Well, she has to. You have to move fast. It's not that much time for this huge wall to climb, because the route is really long. It really swirls through the whole roof section, through the wall itself.
Big reach up with that left hand. Matches in on the high grip on that tool.
And making a clip. That didn't look too difficult for her. Funny thing is, if you're exactly below those holds, they look far more difficult. From our point of view, they might look a lot better than for the competitor themselves.
It's only those close-ups that really give us an idea of how small those edges are. Wan Shin now in the ice, reaches behind her to make that clip, and she'll climb onto that free hanging box behind her, through the horizontal section, onto the ice to her right.
Doesn't take a rest either. She doesn't have time to rest. You have to move on fast over there. And that's exactly what she does.
Reaches up with the right hand into the fig 9 with the right leg.
That's a long move for the clip. Oh, but she does that nicely. We just can't see the hold here from the screen, but it looks like it's a little bit a tricky hold because they all go a little careful onto that hold.
Reaches over with the right hand to the edge of that volume. This is the point where she'll have to commit all of her weight to that right hand. Match in, kicks across with that left foot. Look at that, extending with the left foot to balance herself. Matches in with the tool. Into the fig 4 and then reaches across and down into the ice. She'll kick down with her feet. Look at that great angle as we see her stepping across onto the ice. And now she needs to skirt those feet across as fast as she can through to that next clip. Finds that clip in the snow. Important not to miss them. Reaches up high into the ice, into those pre-drilled holes that are getting harder to see all the time.
More and more snow growing up there. And it's still snowing, as you can see on the camera here clearly.
Another clip for Wan Shin. And heads towards the ply again as she turns the corner to her right.
Final clip, and then she moves into the wood section again.
And so as she reaches that volume with 2 minutes and 36 seconds on the clock, she's 30 seconds ahead of where Angelica Rhina was and 20 seconds roughly ahead of where Maria Tolonina was. So she's still in with a chance of that gold medal, especially if she continues to move at this pace.
And she has to move continuously over here. Long move. Wonder if she's going to do it. Yes, she's going to do a figure 4 over there. Of course she is. A little bit of jump to get into the hold.
But still no trouble for Wan Shin of Korea, who matches in on the high grip on that right tool. Swings over to that big horn on the left of the arete. Amazing work from Wan Shin so far. She's moving very efficiently, still faster than all of the other ladies so far. She has to top this route if she wants to win, and she has to top it faster than Angelica Rhina, who had less than a second on the clock. So let's wait and see.
Lovely dynamic move she just did. So she still has a lot of power. That's the thing with the dynamic movements. You have to have power to be able to do those dynamic moves. Here I can see perfectly where you have to place the ice axe in the undercut. Making a clip.
In that Stein now, she needs to move onto that EP volume. She'll move over there with her right hand. And at this point, you can see that wooden volume to her right beckoning. She has to make a very powerful hook move to that. And then she's on a home run. She's got a minute left. Loads of time. Over with the right hand. Angelica Rhina, no doubt, will be watching this, wondering what position it's going to be that Angelica finishes in. Will it be a gold medal or will it be a silver? Wan Shin is the only person that can decide that fate right now. Right tool over into that hooked position. Reaches up high to match.
Starts to make the clip.
Another high clip for Wan Shin.
Ooh, that takes a lot of time.
30 seconds to go for Wan Shin. She needs to reach up with the right hand. 28 seconds left. All she's got to do is get the tools onto that blue hold that you can see on the top of the screen and make the clip. She skids her feet. She's got to be so careful now. Left tools on. She cuts loose but manages to stay composed. Places the right hand on the tool. Reaches up for the clip. 10 seconds to go. Can she match? She has to match. There it is with 6 seconds to go. Ladies and gentlemen, your new world champion, Wan Shin of Korea, takes the gold medal that she's been working so hard for all season. And you can see the emotion visible in her face. What a fairy tale finish for the Korean athlete. Marianne, that was incredible.
She doesn't know it yet, though. She knows that
I'm pretty sure she knows.
I'm
pretty sure. You know, you can call me out, but I'd say that Wan Shin has a fairly good idea that she's won.
After everything she's done, all the failures she's had already at the previous competitions, and then this as a final at the very end of the season, that is a very good.
The culmination of years of training, the culmination of months and months of absolutely relentless effort, ups and downs, emotion. She's had it all. But Wan Shin retains her world champion status here in Champagny-En-Vanoise, and she goes home with the gold medal. Look at that moment. She matches in with that tool, pulls up. Watch her face here.
She knows.
Absolutely knew that she'd won that. Amazing work from Wan Shin of Korea. We'll have confirmation of that women's result very, very soon. Of course, we have to wait for the judges to verify that result. There's an appeal period. And in the meantime, we're going to see young Swiss climber Yanik Glatard climbing for his attempt at the gold medal. Of course, he needs to top that route faster than Hyung Park did, who had 46 seconds on the clock when he topped. A top is necessary to win. If he wants to be in with a chance of a silver medal, then he needs to touch the last hold, and that will put him ahead of Nikolai Klev. Let's see what Yanik can do.
Oh, Yanik is such a fast climber. He can climb so fast, but he also takes a lot of risk in his climbs. So it really is. Yeah, I'm not sure what he's gonna do, and that's actually the exciting thing of this climbing competition.
Reaches over with that right hand in the deep lock off the left to the base of that EP volume. Reaches it with his hand. Yanik, not only a very talented ice climber, but also a very strong rock climber. Likes to repeat and develop new areas. Hoping to go climbing with Yanik in September at one of the areas he developed. Let's see what he does here. Goes into that undercut. High move using those extra strong biceps.
No hesitation at all. He just goes for it.
Reaches the disc with 5:26 on the clock. That's a little bit slower than Nikolai Klev, but quite a bit faster than Jannis Volack, and pretty much on a par with Hyung Park. Of course, all he has to do is match Hyung Park's time and beat it by a second to take a gold medal here. Yanik will be competing in the Youth World Championships in this same venue next week. Releases his tool in the steeper section and makes the clip.
That's a fast clip. It's well done. Taking a figure of 4 over there, reaching into the next hold.
Where we saw Nikolai Klev opting for that DTS style, Yanik Glatard's opting for some fig 4s and fig 9s.
The figure 4s and figure of 9s gives you a little bit more security compared to the DTS style, and the DTS style is really powerful, and he's definitely going to need the energy in the rest of his route.
Opts to reach high above the hold to make the clip. Very a sensible move there. Although the clips mean more points, if you're confident that you can make it, then it's worthwhile getting ahead of it sometimes so that you can make it easier. And of course, Yanik Glatard is going all out here. There's no doubt about it. He wants that gold medal. He's not just doing this to qualify for anything. He wants the top spot.
Very fast movement over here.
Full commitment will be displayed from him. Efficient clip in there. And starts to move quickly through this ice section.
No rest, no hesitation. He just goes for it. Move after move.
Yanik Glatard has had a really good season. Was incredibly close to taking a gold medal in Cheongsong, only denied by the home advantage and home winner, Mr. Hyung Park. He finished 6th overall this year, 9th in Durango, 3rd in Beijing, 2nd in Cheongsong, 14th in Sazfei when he was suffering with an illness, and then 7th last week in Rabenstein after he took that fall. Climbed like a winner though. Cuts loose on that free hanging splinter into the Fig 9, back into the 4, and then pushes away off the wall to get a swing going.
That's a very long move in this way.
Just misses it first time, but hits it. He misses it second time. This is very unlike Yanik, but hits it third time. And you can see the tool skating there. He's not in a good position.
That was very close though.
But he's confident in that position. Places that left tool onto the upper part of the volume. Reaches up to make that clip. 2 minutes and 46 seconds on the clock. Gets to the traverse. You see him shaking his head there, just composing himself, talking to himself. Yanik Glatard, very, very strong in the mind. And he often, you'll see, talks to himself, gives himself a pep talk mid-route. Left hand goes over onto the top of the AIX volume.
Wiggling his tool onto it to find the right position. And fastly moving on.
You can see how much snow we're getting here. We can barely see Yanik. The snow causing us lots of problems, but the camera guy is doing a great job. And he reaches over for the base of that volume.
They're trying to figure out the right way. He's trying to find what time he has, I think, over here. But he has to move on. He doesn't have time to think at this moment. He just has to go for it.
He's currently behind Hyung Park. Hyung Park had already reached the end of the traverse by this point. But we know that Yanik can accelerate at phenomenal speed when he needs to.
Next move, powerful move. He's still in the figure 4. He still has to place his feet. Which is a very tricky thing to do.
Kicks into the ice with one foot,
Very
fly with the other. Look at that quick reach over there. No hesitation from Yanik Glatard. He's about 15 seconds behind Hyung Park, but needs to pick up that pace. Of course, a top here will guarantee him second place. A top faster than Hyung Park will guarantee him gold.
But he has to move. He has to move on.
Reaches up with that right hand, not quite finding the sweet spot on the
really
bottom of
find
that
it yet.
volume.
There he
There
has
it
it.
is.
Yeah, it's a very small hold he has there. Has to make the clip. He does make the clip.
Reaches over with that right hand, hits the apex of that plywood volume.
Trying to find the right position, and it really looks like a difficult hold for all the competitors together.
Hyung Park finished this route with 46 seconds on the clock, and as we look at that timer, Hyung Park will stay in a gold medal position. He'll be watching that knowing that he's just taken the World Championship title, but Yanik Glatard is now climbing for silver. All he has to do is top. Reaches over with the right hand and hits that hold. And will he take the Stein, or will he go Fig 4? He puts in the Stein, and look at this, with 28 seconds to go. Yanik Glatard only has to match that hold. Reaches up right hand. Ladies and gentlemen.
He still's got time left.
Yanik Glatard reaches up, makes the clip,
great.
matches the hold, and that is a silver medal guaranteed for Yanik Glatard. Amazing work, and a silver medal for the 19-year-old Swiss climber. Awesome work, and a brilliant finish to the season from him, especially after his competition in Rabenstein. He will be delighted with that silver position. Marianne, what did you think of that?
That was a good climb though. He has to move a little faster, but with his age, so young, and then already being so fast and so secure on all the moves that he's doing right now. He's trying to take over the position from Hyung Park, standing all the way at the top.
Hyung Park, who took the gold medal, famous for those backflips. Looks like Yanik Glatard's turn to do that. Yanik Glatard tops the route. Brilliant, brilliant effort. And of course, we saw him change his style there. He didn't climb quite as fast or aggressively as we saw in Rabenstein, but that's okay. There he goes. Big fall and a big swing for Yanik Glatard. Awesome finish to this competition here at Champagny-En-Vanoise. Marianne, we have a new men's world champion. We have a replacement, what's the word I'm looking for? She's won it again.
She won it again.
Wan Shin takes her second in a row World Championship title. Hyung Park takes the men's World Championship title. What a phenomenal event. We'll have the results any second. We'll look for those results.
The judges have to confirm the results that we've just been looking
Let's
for.
watch that backflip again. Amazing finish there for Yanik Glatard, and you can see how pleased he is. Of course, he doesn't know whether he's won or not. He'll find out that he's got silver very soon. And let's have a quick look at those results. So, first up, the women's lead finals of the 2017 UIAA Ice Climbing World Championships here in Champagny-En-Vanoise in France. 8th place, Ireland's Emma McSwigan. 7th place goes to Hannah Ray Song of Korea. 6th place, Mariam Philippov of Russia. 5th place, Katerina Vasser, also of Russia. 4th place goes to Petra Klingler of Switzerland. 3rd place and a bronze medal goes to Russian climber Maria Tolonina. 2nd place and silver medal goes to Angelica Rhina of Italy. And 1st place goes to South Korea's Wan Shin for the 2nd time in a row. In the men's competition, of course, in 8th place of Iran, Mohammad Reza. In 7th place from Russia, Radmir Penko. 6th place of Ukraine, Valentin Covin. 5th place from Russia, Alexi Denan. 4th place from Slovenia, Jannis Volack. 3rd place and a bronze medal, ever so close for Nikolai Klev. 2nd place and a silver medal, Swiss Air left the building, Yanik Glatard of Switzerland. And of course, 1st place, not only is he ranked number 1 in the world, he is also the world champion, South Korea's Hyung Park. Marianne, summarise that finals for me in a few words.
It was such an exciting thing to watch. The time was really an issue over here. The routes were technical, the routes were long, you had to be strong. It was just as finals are supposed to be.
Well, Marianne, it's been a pleasure having you on board. Thank you so much for joining me in the commentary booth this afternoon.
Thank you too.
And of course, thank you very much to all of the sponsors of the event. Thank you to the UIAA. Thank you, of course, to the North Face, who are the title sponsor of the World Cup and the World Championships. Over 100,000 of you have joined us on Facebook today. That doesn't include YouTube or the Twitter viewers. If you have tuned in on Facebook, make sure you like the UIAA page. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter. We'll be bringing you highlights of all the action, exclusive interviews and best bits over the coming days. We'll be back later on with the medal ceremony. All that's left is for me to say a huge thank you to everybody that's tuned in, a huge thank you to QTV, who have been broadcasting this whole tour and of course this World Championships here. My name is Liam Lonsdale. I am absolutely delighted to have been part of this tour and looking forward to seeing you guys at a competition again soon. Get in touch on #UIAA Ice Climbing, and until later, a very good afternoon from Champagny-En-Vanoise.